All right, let's dive into the hidden engines of our digital world. They're working 24/7 behind the scenes, and a whole new generation of them is getting a serious green makeover. Yep, we're talking about green data centers. It's a funny question, right? We talk about the cloud like it's just floating up there, but the internet has a very real, very physical home. So, where is it? You got it. It lives in data centers. Every single email, every video you stream, every late night search, it all runs through these massive building-sized facilities. They are the physical backbone, the heart and soul of our entire digital universe. But all of that incredible computing power, well, it comes with a pretty big and often invisible price tag. Let's pull back the curtain on the real cost of being online. The source material puts it perfectly. They have a voracious energy appetite. That phrase just paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? We're not talking about just keeping the lights on. This is a relentless, around-the-clock hunger for power. And that voracious appetite has some very real-world consequences. To feed that hunger, traditional data centers put a huge strain on our energy grids, which means they often have to rely on good old fossil fuels. And you know what that means? A massive carbon footprint that just keeps pushing climate change in the wrong direction. But what if there was a better way to do all this? This is where the story gets interesting, with the rise of a new hero, the green data center. So what is a green data center, really? Well, think of it as a direct answer to all those problems we just mentioned. Its entire design, from the ground up, is built around one single idea: sustainability. It's all about cutting energy use, shrinking that carbon footprint, and just being way, way smarter about how it uses resources. And this comparison just lays it all out, clear as day. On one side, you've got the old way, totally dependent on the grid, cooled by giant, power-hungry air conditioners and running on older hardware. And on the other side, the green model. It's pulling in renewable energy, using super advanced cooling, and running on the latest efficient hardware. And guess what? That also means it's cheaper to run in the long term. So how do they actually pull this off? Well, it really boils down to four key principles. Four big ideas that totally change the game for how a data center works. Let's break them down. First things first, the hardware itself. This is about swapping out old, power-guzzling servers for sleek, modern ones. And a huge part of this is something called virtualization. The best way to think about it is turning one single physical server into a bunch of separate digital ones. So one machine can do the work of, say, 10 older ones. That means way less hardware, which means way less power. Number two, they change where they get their electricity. Instead of just plugging into the traditional grid and hoping for the best, green data centers are tapping into renewables. We're talking solar panels on the roof, wind turbines nearby, even geothermal energy. Some even generate their own power right there on site, which is a huge win for their carbon footprint and their energy security. Okay, principle number 3 tackles one of the biggest energy hogs in any data center: cooling. Those servers generate an incredible amount of heat. So instead of just blasting the whole room with AC, green data centers get clever. They use things like liquid immersion cooling, literally dipping the servers in a cooling fluid, or smart airflow systems that keep the hot air and cold air from mixing. It's so much more efficient, it can cut cooling costs by up to 95%. And finally, the fourth principle. They optimize absolutely everything. This is the smart in smart data center. They use automated systems that ramp power up or down based on what's actually happening in real time. So if a server is idle, it's not sucking up power. Even the lights and ventilation are intelligent, only using what's needed when it's needed. Not a single watt of energy is wasted. Now, of course, making this huge shift from the old way to the new green way isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. There are definitely some real hurdles to overcome, but on the other side, some pretty massive opportunities. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's a classic trade-off. On the one hand, yeah, the upfront cost for all this new tech can be really high, and trying to integrate renewables that aren't on 24/7 like solar can be technically tricky. But then you look at the payoffs. Dramatically lower energy bills forever, a huge boost to your company's reputation, and you're already ahead of the curve for future environmental rules. It's a big investment, but the return is even bigger. So what's next? Where do we go from here? Because the evolution doesn't just stop with those four principles. Believe it or not, the future of data centers is about to get even smarter. And there are two huge trends that are really leading the charge: edge computing, and artificial intelligence. Edge computing basically flips the whole model on its head. Instead of sending every piece of data on a long journey to a massive central data center, you do the processing right where the data is created, at the edge of the network. This cuts down on all that data travel, which takes a huge load off the big central hubs and saves a ton of energy across the whole system. And then you have AI. You can think of AI as the new, super intelligent brain of the whole operation. AI algorithms can manage the data center with incredible precision. They can tweak cooling systems minute by minute, predict when a big workload is coming so the system is ready, and shift resources around dynamically to match demand perfectly. The goal? To make sure not a single drop of energy ever goes to waste. So when you boil it all down, you get to this one simple truth. Our entire digital world is built on energy. Green data centers prove we have a choice. We can stick with the voracious appetite of the past, or we can build a sustainable, intelligent future. The tech is here. The path is clear. The only question left is, how will we choose to build?